Hello, you guys. So, part 2. I'm Glowface again. So, being around people who voice negativity can influence us to behave in the same way. Even if we're not aware of it. Our brains have evolved to reward us when our thoughts and opinions fall in line. I'm so sorry. I am like blind and I'm trying to read this and my eyes keep going blurry and then going back to being okay, and so like just bear with me. Thoughts and opinions fall in line with our social group. Through extended exposure to negativity, we can be unwillingly shaped into a negative person. Makes sense, right? Okay, so while there are many examples throughout history of people breaking free from social norms, these have often been effortful and informed choices. On a basic level, our brains encourage the pursuit of fitting in with our social group. So the whole peer pressure thing, you know, is a big thing here. Now, I'll tell you this. I've never really been big on peer pressure. Like, I've never given into it very much. Like, I really never have. If I choose to do something, it's because I've chosen to do it, not because I was pressured into it. I've said no to my peers a lot. So, growing up, when I was a teenager, all of that. I wasn't one of those kids that just followed the crowd. I never have been. So I haven't had to deal with this, but I know that most people have. So, you know, so that's what I'm trying to portray here, or read about, I guess. Okay, so how negativity rewires our brain. Okay, so this is how. The neuroscience, the neural basis from contracting negative perspectives is that our brain rewards us for being similar to those around us. Evolution has led us to see agreement with others as a successful interaction, and as a result, our brain gives us a little shot of dopamine. Conversely, when we disagree, the brain triggers feelings of pain. So it doesn't have to be like physical pain, but it could be like you just feeling uncomfortable, or you like you know, when someone disagrees with you, you're kind of like, sometimes you get offended, right? There's a lot of that going around in the world right now. Or you get like, or you just feel like this feeling inside, you know, and like a negative feeling inside. And then whenever someone agrees with you, or you all are on the same page, right, then you have like the like I said, the dopamine, right, happens. This is like scientifically proven, so they've seen it in brain scans and all this stuff. So like you literally get that little shot of happy juice. I call it happy juice in your brain, and it makes you happy. So it's like a reward system. So whenever you agree with people, or you're on the same page with people, it's like you get rewarded inside of your brain. And so it's kind of like when you eat sugar or whatever, you get that same feeling. That's why people get addicted to sugar so easily. So yeah, there we go. There's that. Psychologists have known about this phenomenon since the 1950s. And since this time, the 1950s, psychologists have researched and investigated the area of social influence in great depth, and it is accepted that the opinion of others can impact those of the individual. The mechanism works in the brain through the rewards it gives for being like those around us. Like I was saying, the reward centers, right, in our brain. We're incredibly likely to catch, quote unquote, their perspectives on life through the neurological mechanisms that encourage us to think like those we are with. So, So that, people's perceptions over time will influence our own as our negative responses become repeatedly rewarded. Surrounding ourselves with pessimists will have the impact of making us more pessimistic. So I don't know if you've ever noticed, like, misery loves company, right? And like people will go and they'll be like, well, I'm sad, so I'm going to make everybody else sad. I'm going to talk about it, and it's going to bring up all these feelings of sadness within you, right? And then, or you go like, there's another, you just around negative people all the time or pessimistic people, and you're going to start looking at things in a pessimistic way. So you're going to start noticing things like, instead of you automatically going to the positive or automatically going to something that is like, oh, this is a happy thought, or this is like a happy turn of events, or, you're going to twist this negative situation that just happened into, into a positive, right? That could be your natural way of being. But when you're around somebody who's pessimistic all the time and who is negative all the time, you're going to start absorbing their way of being, their way of thinking, their all that, the pessimisticness. So you're, instead of seeing things and twisting it around, you're going to be like, oh, wow, well, this is bad, or oh my god, like, this is bad. You're going to do the victimization, all of that stuff. And on top of all of that, you also have to think about, like, you're going to end up, oh my god. Okay, so pessimistic people, like the ones who are negative all the time, you're going to start becoming like them, basically, is what this is saying. And this is like science proven and all of this stuff. And it's bad because then you begin to dwell on the negative. You begin to saturate your mind and your emotions with those negative thoughts and emotions. And it just kind of consumes you. And that's why I've told y'all before, it's really important to make sure that your environment and the people that you are around are positive people. If there's negative people in your life, if there's like your environment is negative, try to make sure that you always try to focus on the positive, or like try to be around more positive people, or go and just, if you live in a place that is negative and you have no way of getting away, like you can't just run to another place or anything like that, try to not stay there as often, or seclude yourself in your room, or if you share a room with somebody who's negative, go to like the bathroom whenever you can, or go outside, go to the porch, go to the backyard, whatever. Try to spend as much time as you can away from that, because that's gonna help you to get over your anxiety, your depression, whatever is making you there, because you don't want to stay there. There's always you're gonna always have bouts of anxiety and depression. It's just gonna happen. It's life, right? But you do not, what is that? It doesn't mean you pitch a tent and stay there for a while. You let it go. You pass it, and you're like, oh, I acknowledge I'm feeling this way. I'm acknowledge there's a reason for me to feel this way, and that's it. And then just focus on the positive, focus on where you're going, because everything in this world is temporary. Everything. Remember that. That's so important to remember, is that everything in this world is temporary. So just remember that, and you'll be fine. Like, I promise you'll be fine. So, okay. So I'm going to try to read this real quick because I have like a minute. But, once negative responses have been wired into our brains, sorry, I'm over here like, I feel retarded. Okay, into our brains, undoing them can take a lot of work, and this is so true. That's why a lot of us have those bad habits, and it's like really hard to let go of like the anxiety and all of these things. So yeah, that's how that works. But I'm gonna try it like this. Yeah, it can take a lot of work. Our brains work efficiently. This means they go down the path of least resistance. neutral networks that have been enforced, such as those negative ones that have been cultivated through reward systems in place to support agreement in social groups, provide this path of least resistance. To become positive again, we literally have to rewire our brains, putting effort in to go against the grain. The issue is we may not notice the impact of negative people, especially if we are being constantly influenced by them. But once we escape those situations, their impact becomes obvious. Cultivating a positive outlook is more achievable once we are outside of the trap of the negative social group. And this is true. I've told y'all my story. Y'all know my story, dealing with my ex-husband and everything, and how negative he was, and how I had to escape that. Once I did, like, my anxiety got so much better. Like, it almost completely went away within that first, like, month that had left after I had left him. And so, and that whole situation just was bad for me. And so, like, just remember those things. Like, remember that you have the ability to do this. I'm going to go, this is going to end up being a 3 and a 4th part, because see how long it is, and I just did the 2nd part. We still have other things to go over. So I will be making those videos as well, but I wanted to post this tonight because I promised that I would. I've been going through stuff, you know this. So, but anyway, I'm going to stop that. I'm going to stop talking about things I don't need to talk about. This was part 2. Ooh, stay tuned for part 3. I will try to post it tomorrow. Actually, I will. I'm going to post it tomorrow. But I love you guys. Remember, you're not alone. And yeah. Bye.